That's why we need different viewpoints, because we all have different viewpoints. That's rather like the elephant that I showed you last time. It's the same thing done in a different way. But it's pretty easy to disagree. And which is the truth? Where's the truth? Is there something other than simple truth? Is there something in between true and false, or can things be true and false? You need other people to help you see that. And critical thinking, the second of the C's, critical thinking. Sorry, I don't know why it says critical thinking. It's just critical thinking. Developing your own ideas and opinions and understanding more about what's really going on, and then making informed decisions. And I think that's a really important phrase, informed decisions. Too many decisions made quickly and without enough thought. If you're a leader, you need to base your decisions on information, on knowledge, on research, on diverse opinions, and on the opinions of people who are more expert than you are about certain things. So try to make informed decisions. Can you find the mistake? Quick answers in the chat. Anybody got the answer? There's no zero. That's not a mistake. It's amazing, isn't it, how the brain works? Again, you made an assumption. Yes, well done, Bridget. Bridget got, and Kawadza got that, yeah, and Hamalani. So a few of you got it. Remember, Hamalani, Kawadza, Bridget, and a few others. You got that. But it's funny how when you had enough time to look at it and read it, when you read it quickly, your brain doesn't see that. But when you had more time, then you start to see what's going on. And it all comes back, as we've said before, the multiple intelligences that we talked about last week. You need these because some of you will have got the answers to those questions quicker via certain types of intelligence. Other people will have been concentrating on the mathematical and the logical, for example. They won't have seen the visual intelligence that managed to turn the ball around, or that perhaps saw that there were two "the" in the sentence. So you've got to, this is why you've got to have people on your teams and all around you who are different from you. And it also comes down to your brain. And we could talk for hours about this, the left brain and the right brain. Big thing in neuroscience. One of the most interesting books I've read in my life, it was on this subject, a very complicated book that I read a couple of years ago, but about how the whole world at the moment is dominated by left brain thinking, logic, science, time, language, whereas the creative, the art, the intuition, and the imagination has been downgraded. Think about it, find out more about that. It's a fascinating subject. If you want to see what I have to say about it, I have written a short blog about it. I wrote during the COVID time about that subject, which may be interesting for you. I'll share that. I can share that also through the chat. Sorry, we can share that through the group next week. We'll produce some of these links for you to have a look at. Look at those. Which one is bigger? I'm not going to spend time on this, but I expect most people will say those are quite different shapes. That's certainly the way it looks to me, but they're not. They're the same. And again, your brain is playing tricks with you. Your brain is a tricky thing. It loves to play tricks, and you will always find these situations. That's why these illusions, magic tricks and things are so interesting, because your brain tells you one thing and the reality is different. And that's why you have to ask questions about your own brain. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to type any questions that you want us to talk about next week. But while you do that, and you type a few things in the chat, I hope you've got some more questions, or you can send them in, of course, to the team. While you do that, here's another thing I want you to do, because I want you to do this one while you are away during the week. You can take a piece of paper, and I have a question for you. And here's the question. You're going to draw a square on a piece of paper. In fact, you may need to draw a lot of squares. But that's what you draw. And your task is to divide the square into 4 exactly equal pieces. They must be the same size and the same shape, 4 pieces. So the obvious way everybody would begin would be to do that. There you are. You've divided the square into 4 identical pieces. And you probably, your next one, then just try again, a second way, a different way. You'll probably do this. There we are, 4 identical pieces. I'm just giving you those 2 examples. What I want you to do is to try to find as many ways as you can to do it. And the question that I want you to answer next week is, how many ways are there to divide the square into identical 4 pieces? How many ways are there? And when we come together next week, I'm going to ask who can answer that question. How many ways? So send in your questions either now or later. I will move on rapidly now towards the end.